One Piece Volume 98 is officially out, and of course, that means that the SBS for Volume 98 is slowly getting leaked, and the pictures, the scans are slowly getting uploaded to the Reddit platforms, and it's available for you to read if you're interested. In this video, we'll talk a little bit about the very important informations that are presented in this SBS. Now, of course, the SBS doesn't mean that all these information are canon. It is a lot of extra information that we get from the author himself. But of course, don't consider this as canon, at least not official yet. So, the first thing I want to start off with is, of course, the different devil fruits that Oda considers would suit the Straw Hat crew. Not that he wants to give it to them anytime soon, but he believes that this fruit would be suitable for these characters. Starting off with is Zoro. Zoro, interestingly enough, is suitable for the fish fruit mythical type Azure Dragon. So officially that is Kaido's dragon fruit name, devil fruit name. It's the fish fruit model, mythical type Azure Dragon. Now, the interesting thing here is that he doesn't want to give that to Zoro, but he wants Zoro's katana to become the dragon. So, is he connecting Odin's sword to some kind of a dragon? Is that a foreshadowing that the sword is going to do something to Kaido? I don't know. People can come up with a lot of theories with just this statement alone. But we're going to move on from that to Nami. Now, Nami, in this translation, of course, Oda says that she would become the strongest in the crew, excluding Luffy, if she got the Goro fruit from Enel. So Enel's fruit is lightning, and if she got that devil fruit, she would become the strongest in the crew, excluding Luffy. So this translation is kind of iffy. If this is the case, this would start a huge debate, of course, but we're gonna have to wait till we see where this actual translation comes from. The next is, of course, Usopp. Usopp is supposed to get the pocket fruit. Now, the pocket fruit was actually a devil fruit that one of Whitebeard's commanders had it. What this does is it gives you 2 pockets on your cheeks, and you're able to store anything that you want, infinite amount of stuff, and you can take it anytime you want. And Usopp, being a craftsman, would love to have a lot of things in store in pockets. So yeah, that devil fruit would actually be very useful for Usopp. Then moving on to Sanji. Sanji would get Senior Pink's Sui fruit, or the swim fruit. So this devil fruit would allow him to swim through walls, swim through the ground, and Oda says if Sanji gets this ability, something's going to happen, something bad is going to happen. Obviously, he's referring to Sanji's pervertedness, and he's going to swim through the ground and everything. But I would have thought Sanji would have been better with the clear fruit, because that's the devil fruit that he wanted. But maybe Oda thinks that this fruit is better for him because he already has invisibility thanks to, the raid suit. So maybe that's the case. Moving on from that is Frankie. And of course, Frankie, even the fans have theorized that Baby Fi's weapon fruit would be the perfect match for Frankie, being, he's a robot, and that would be the perfect match. So these are all the devil fruits for the members of the Straw Hat crew. The interesting thing here is that, of course, he hasn't talked about Jinbei. And Jinbei, being a fishman, if he got an actual devil fruit, that would be really interesting. And I can't come up with an actual good devil fruit for him at the moment, but I would have expected him to put that here because Jinbei is officially a Straw Hat. So we'll have to see where that goes. Moving on from that, he cleared up some really interesting questions that observant fans, had for him. For example, in one of the questions, a person asks that Izo is using a sword. Izo is using a gun instead of a sword. Even though he's a samurai from Wano, why is he using a gun? And this is Oda's response. He says that Izo and his brother Okiku, when they were kids, they were treated as criminals because of their father. And they were put into entertainment business and they were made to do shooting and all of that stuff. So ever since Izo was a kid, he was only good at shooting. He was never good at the sword. And when he joined the Whitebeard Pirates, he was struggling to maintain the sword. He was not very good at the sword. And Vista of the Flower Blade was the one who advised Izo that he should consider protecting with what he's good at doing. So in essence, he just says that if you're not good with the sword, just leave it. Just do what you're good at and protect people with what you're good at. So this is a very beautiful expanding for Vista's character, because Vista is the swordsman and he understands the samurai's way. And Oda says that samurai is the way you decide to live. So if you want to live with the sword, that's your choice. If you want to live with the gun, that's your choice. As long as you do the way you choose, that's the way of the samurai. And that was pretty interesting to get from Oda. Moving on from that, we're talking about a few funny gags about Sanji. He was crying that Nami was hugging Jinbei. That was a really funny touch. Then he was also talking about a little bit of a creepy, perverted side for Nami. The mixed bats situation with Shinobu. Of course, if you see the scans, you can see the pictures right there. And another one that struck me as important is someone asked him if there will be a Gear 5 for Luffy. Now, obviously, Oda being Oda is not going to tell the truth. Obviously, we know that. But the answer he did give was pretty interesting. He says, a Gear 5? The enemy Luffy's fighting is the strongest man in the world this time. And the world, that is moving on from 4G to 5G. The G stands for Gear 4, right? This is his statement. So he's obviously trolling and he's throwing people off. He doesn't want to give away what he's going to do. We know that. But the funny thing here is that he's not acknowledging that there is no Gear 5 or there is a Gear 5, obviously. At the same time, he's throwing in there that the enemy Luffy is fighting is the strongest man in the world. And the world behind the scenes is also moving on from 4G to 5G. There's a lot of things happening outside Wano as we speak. The warlords are being hunted by the Navy. The world government is having a fight with the revolutionaries. So it doesn't matter if Luffy goes Gear 4 or not. The world is already moving on from 4G to 5G. So Luffy has to grow up. That's probably what he was talking about here, or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I thought that was pretty interesting. Another pretty interesting thing that he was talking about is Dofi. Initially, it seems Dofi was a leftover from his original plot. Dofi was actually a character named Joker who was supposed to be present in Wano as Kaido's strongest ally. But obviously that was changed and Dofi was the Joker, but he was kept in Dressrosa and Oda wanted to deal with him before they got to Kaido. So Oda points out that Dofi was Kaido's strongest ally and the Straw Hats are much safer now because they got a threat, one of the biggest threats. They got dealt with it before. Some very important random information thrown in here is that, of course, the horns for the Beast Pirates are just a fashion choice. It's not that they actually are horns, but it's a fashion choice. Some of them have horns naturally, of course, but some of them just, attach it to their head. It's a fashion choice, probably mimicking Kaido and the whole beast theme. That was confirmed, but at the same time, we don't know who has the real ones and who has the fake ones, because it seems as if Black Maria has real horns and even Yamato has real horns, but Sasaki and the other ones probably are fake. Another one is that we see that Kid and Killer fell in love with a girl and we get to see a picture of her. Yamato was born on November 3rd, so yay for people who were born on November 3rd, I guess. We also get an official name for Kozuki Sukiyaki's assistant. His name is Panzaburo. So a lot of interesting stuff. We also have a little bit more information regarding the lead performers, the Tobiropo, that all of them are based on card games. So we knew that pretty much, and it's nice to see Oda confirm it. And a lot more translations are still rolling in, so as the translations keep coming up, we'll cover it more. And this is all I want to cover in this video. A lot of great information, nothing that's going to change the course of the plot or anything, but these are really fun things that Oda talks about in the SBS. This is why I don't consider anything that Oda says as canon material, especially in the SBS, because he tends to throw people off and he keeps saying stuff that don't really match sometimes, and he, it's most of the time he's pretty much fanboying over his own series kind of situation. Anyway, he also drew a very interesting picture for Sanji when he was 40 and 60 years old. Of course, just as before, we have two scenarios. One where it's a normal timeline where Luffy becomes the Pirate King and obviously they all succeed. The second one where obviously something abnormal happened and everything went absurd. But we see that in the absurd scenario, he grows up to becoming a Vinsmoke judge. So that's kind of a funny situation. Maybe Judge was actually like Sanji before. He was a good guy, he was a nice person, and the situation in the North Blue probably turned him into the fat guy and eventually corrupted him, and then he became what the Judge he is right now. So this is probably kind of maybe a foreshadowing. We'll see how that goes. And then of course there are some really beautiful and cute pictures of Pudding and Sanji cooking. I'll leave those pictures right now. It's really cute to see that these two are interacting, and even though Oda says that he doesn't want to officially make any couples for the Straw Hats, it looks like the Straw Hats are slowly finding a pair of their own. Like for example, Sanji and Pudding are pretty much kind of married. Luffy and Hancock have a thing going on. Frankie and Robin, I'm pretty sure there's something there. They've been hinting at it from many cover pages and the full colored spreads, I guess you would call it. And of course we also have Zoro with Hiyori. They have a connection. So yeah, maybe they're some kind of a pair-offs for the future of the series where everything is achieved and these guys find a way to settle in life. These are kind of interesting scenarios. Anyway, I'm gonna stop the video here. If you had fun, I would hope that you continue to read this chapter. Read the SBS. I will link it below. Thank you for watching, and if you have anything to comment below. I'll catch you in another one. Bye.